Goal setting is the foundation of continuous improvement, and it's important to be strategic in our thinking when creating our goals. As Alice in Wonderland said, if you don't know where you want to go, then it doesn't matter which path you take. The purpose of this quick video is to share some ways you can approach creating a goal that's meaningful and manageable to you. To begin, think generally about the work you do with students. Consider these questions. What am I or what are we trying to accomplish? What are students doing well that we'd like to build on? What are students challenged with that we'd like to support? What do I want success to look like for my students? What ideas do we have about the challenges getting in the way of that imagined success? When you have a few ideas that are meaningful to you, then work to begin crafting goals. A SMART goal is a great way to document your goal, and it's important that goals are articulated in terms of student outcomes, not teacher actions. Those come later. First, let's review what SMART stands for. S is for specific and strategic. M is for measurable. A is for action-oriented. R is for realistic. And T is for time-bound. Now that we know the acronym, let's dig in a little further. Specific and strategic. How will students grow? In what areas? Make sure that your PLC and IGDP goals are supporting school and or district goals. Your goal and the work you do to make progress toward your goal improves not only the work of the students with whom you work, but impacts the success of the school and the district-wide system. Measurable. What evidence will show that you're making progress toward your goal? It's nearly impossible to set a meaningful goal that's tied to an end-of-year test unless you have some way to monitor your progress throughout the year. Think about what students will produce in your class that will show continuous growth in your area of focus. What meaningful data do you have available to you? If it's important to you to set a goal based on an end-of-year assessment, then you'll want to be overt in your action steps how you'll measure progress throughout the year. Action-oriented. We want goals to provide a springboard for the action that both educators and students are going to do in order to improve. There is intentionality in well thought out goals. Realistic. We want goals that are meaningful and manageable. Be sure that you're setting a goal that stretches your students, but not too far, and is important enough to you that you'll be intentional about working on it on a day-to-day basis. Incremental steps towards success helps us stay invested. And time-bound. Consider the time frame in which you'll work to make progress toward your goal. By when will you see what progress? More importantly than a perfectly worded goal in the SMART format is being able to own your intentions. If it's easier, then consider the answers to these questions. How do you want students to grow? What specifically do you want to see students doing differently or better? How will you know that they're making progress? What's the evidence you'll observe? And when do you anticipate you'll see improvement from students? Linked with this video is a document with a variety of sample IGDP and PLC goals. Here are a few to get your thinking started, but feel free to lean on that document for additional support. During the 18-19 school year, data from exit tickets will be used to target specific students for immediate intervention to ensure that 80% of students will score 85% or better on the end of unit tests. All students in reading intervention classes will have a 7-point increase on program common formative assessments from fall 2018 to winter 2019. By June, all grade 4 students will demonstrate mastery of 80% of the processes that effectively communicate thinking on open-ended higher order thinking tasks as measured by teacher-created common rubric. During this school year, the 35 identified students will increase their competency attainment level by 1 level in each of the 21 workplace readiness competencies from their base level. By November 2018, 80% of kindergarten students will be able to successfully identify a list of randomized numbers. After you've articulated your goal, then comes the most important piece. What are you going to do to intentionally make progress toward that goal? This is where you consider your actions. What steps are you going to take? What strategies are you going to try? What might you need to learn? I'd encourage you to be strategic in your action planning. Don't simply list a variety of actions that you could try. Be specific about which actions you'll commit to. you can always revisit your action steps and your goals for that matter and determine what's working and what you need to try next. After you've articulated your goal and action steps, then determine how and when you'll check in. For more on this continuous improvement cycle, specifically about the work of professional learning communities, please see the video on this same page. One last note before we bring closure to this quick goal setting video. Aim high in your goal setting because it's not about succeeding, even though it's great when we do. The more important work is making progress toward your goal and the efforts that you engage in to make that progress. As English poet and politician Lord Houghton said, the virtue lies in the struggle, not in the prize. Thanks for taking time to engage in this quick video about goal setting. Please reach out to your leadership team, staff development team, administration, or teaching and learning for support.